All right, Shalom Yashala.
Shalom.
Back with another GMS on the go. I'm Brother Nakam.
Shamar.
And this is the Raleigh, North Carolina camp. Before we go any further, we'd like to give all honor, all glory, and all praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rukar Kodash, Khan. Next up, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth according to the Bible and rule well. And a double shalom to all the Sisei Akim throughout the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and righteousness and sincerity to the best of your ability. You know, me and the brother Shamar was able to get up, you know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You know, Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, which His name means He is or He exists, who the word He calls God. And Yahweh Shai being the only begotten Son, which His name means He saves, He delivers. You know, who the word He calls Jesus. You know, we just gonna get into a lesson on the day of the Lord, you know, how it's really gonna be. And this is going to be a part 2, you see, because contrary to popular belief, you know, the world thinks that the day of the Lord is all hugs and kisses. You know, contrary to popular belief, the world thinks that the day of the Lord is going to be all smiles, you know, good times. And that's not what the day of the Lord is going to be like when you open up this Bible and read it. If anything, we open up this Bible and read it, you know, the day of the Lord consists of, you know, evil, bad times. You see, so without further ado, we're going to dive right into it and grab the first precept and flow through the Spirit.
This is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. At last, for the day is great.
That's right. It said, for at last, for that day is great. And what day is that talking about? It's talking about this day, this time that's coming up. You see? Read on.
So that none is like it.
That's right. The time that's coming up, there's not a time on the face of the earth that can compare to this time that's coming up now. You see, 70 AD can't compare to the times that's coming up now. Ancient Egypt, where all these different plagues came upon the land of ancient Egypt, can't compare to this time that's coming up now. You see, the flood, that can't compare to this time. You see, Sodom and Gomorrah with the fire and brimstone, that can't compare to this time. You see, no time on the face of the earth can compare to this time what's coming. You see, because what? You're going to have race riots going on. You're going to have martial law going on. You're going to have female camps going on with the guillotine inside of them, you know, to chop you wicked people heads off. You know, you're going to have brutal animals eating you to death, diseases, you know. You're going to have ultimately the end all be it all, the 200 million ICBM missiles that the other nations are going to send to destroy this place called America, right along with the chariots with the word that calls UFOs, with the concentrated fire coming down from the bottom of it. You see, so no time on the face of the earth can compare to this time, you know, that we're fastly approaching.
It is even the time of Jacob's trouble.
That's right. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. You know, which Jacob is our forefather, which his name was changed to Israel, you know, according to, when you read the book of Genesis, which represents you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans. So it's the time of you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans trouble, to where you're going to be catching all types of hell in this place called America and all around the four corners of the earth, but mainly in this place called America.
But he shall be saved out of it.
That's right. But he should be saved out of it. And who they're talking about? That's talking about the elected nation of Israel. You know, Lord willing, me and his brother and all the Sisei Akim throughout the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth from righteousness and sincerity to the best ability. You know, Lord will be that number, that elect, that get saved up out of Jacob's trouble. You see? So this is what the day of the Lord is consisting of. It's, you know, it's consisting of a whole bunch of evil, bad times. The day of the Lord is nothing nice. It's nothing to be joking about. The day of the Lord is a very serious and dangerous time. You got a precept? Now I was gonna say, get me Isaiah 13:6. But if you got a precept, you bring it out. You know, so again, you know, like I said when I first opened up, contrary to popular belief, you know, the world's thinking that the day of the Lord is, you know, laughter, good times, you know, smiles, hugs. And that's not what it is.
All right, this is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 6. Howl ye, for the day of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is at hand.
That's right. And we look into that word howl means to cry. You see, and that's exactly what 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latino, and Americans are going to be doing soon come. Y'all going to be crying. Y'all going to be howling. Why? Because the day of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is at hand. You see, to where what? They're going to bring a whole bunch of plagues and calamities upon the face of the earth. You see, and I just named some earlier. You see, they're going to bring race riots, martial law, famine of food and thirst, to where y'all gonna be starving y'all tails off. You see, they're gonna bring these brutal animals to eat you people to death. They're gonna bring the FEMA camps, the RFID chip. You see, the list goes on and on. You see, the day of the Lord is at hand, to where you so-called Negroes, Latin Americans, are gonna be catching so much hell out here. You see, y'all gonna be crying. Read on.
It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty.
That's right. So when the day of the Lord, comes to pass, it's going to come as a destruction from the Almighty. Not Allah, not Buddha, not the Hindu god of Shiva, not Santa Maria, not Haile Selassie. You see, not none of these false gods who are no gods. The day of the Lord is going to come from a destruction from the Almighty, Yahweh Shema Shah. You see, the one and only living true power. You see, because they're the ones that's bringing this destruction, to where you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans are going to be catching so much hell. You see, so the day of the Lord is not, a good time. The day of the Lord is a very, the day of the Lord is a very serious and harsh time. Jump down to verse 9.
Verse 9. This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 9. Behold, the day of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger.
That's right. You see, so it's just showing you again the day of the Lord, what's going to be like. You see, the day of the Lord is coming cruel. You look into that word cruel, it means to willfully cause pain or suffering to others or feeling no concern about it. You see, so Yahweh Shema Shah, he wants 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latino, and Americans, to go through suffering. He and when 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latino, and Americans, start suffering from all these different plagues and calamities that he's gonna send upon the face of the earth. You see, he's not gonna have no concern about it, because what he wants 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latino, and Americans to go through it. You see, because y'all have been wicked your whole life, committing a whole bunch of abomination, wicked, filthy acts, doing things that Yahweh Shema Shah did not take pleasure in. You see, so Yahweh Shema Shah is coming cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger. You see, and how is Yahweh Shema Shah going to show that they're coming cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger? Again, by all these different plagues and calamities that they're going to bring upon the face of the earth. You see, this is what the day of the Lord consists of. So anybody that's thinking that the day of the Lord is all hugs and kisses, you're sadly mistaken, because that's not what it's going to be. The day of the Lord is going to be a whole bunch of killing and bloodshed.
All right, reading on. To lay the land desolate.
And that's right. And what's going to lay this land, America, desolate, uninhabited? Those 200 ICBM missiles. You see, because the water, bro. Those 200 million ICBM missiles. That Russia, China, Syria, North Korea, Turkey, North Korea, if I didn't say them, and so forth on, are going to sit over to this place called America and destroy it. That's what's going to make this land America, uninhabited, desolate. And the only thing that's going to be dwelling over in this place called America, when it's desolate, uninhabited, is those those desert creatures. Anything that can withstand the heat.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it.
That's right. And Yahweh Shema Shah is going to destroy the sinners, the ones of you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, who are transgressing the laws that's commanded to the Bible. He's going to destroy you out of this land called America. You see, because of all your wickedness, all your abominations. You see, so this is what the day of the Lord is going to be like. You see, the day of the Lord is not nice. You see, the day of the Lord is not, good. It's a very serious and, bad time. You got a precept?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10, verse 12. The beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his Maker.
You want it?
All right.
If you want it, I'll break it down. Read it again.
All right. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High.
That's right. So when you depart from the Most High, Yahweh Shema Shah, you see, it's because what? One reason is because you become prideful. You see a lot of that going on. A lot of our people, so-called Negroes, Latin Americans, they start to become prideful, thinking, that they know everything, or they walk around like they ain't got a care in the world, whatever the case may be. And once they start to become prideful, they turn away from Yahweh Shema Shah. You see, they like they too good for Yahweh Shema Shah, like they don't need them no more.
And his heart is turned away from his maker.
That's right. And you look into their heart, it goes back to the Hebrew Allah, which means your mind. Their mind is turned away from their maker, Yahweh Shema Shah. You see, because what? Once they turn their mind from Yahweh Shema Shah and serving them, they're going to be out here doing their own thing, falling after their own lusts, committing a whole bunch of abominations, wicked 50 acts, that Yahweh Shema Shah does not take pleasure in.
Verse 13, for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it shall pour out abomination.
And he that have it shall pour out abomination. So that's it on that?
Nah.
Keep going.
And therefore, Yahweh Shem Yahushai brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly.
That's right. You see, so Yahweh Shem Yahushai brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them. You see, this is what the day of the Lord is going to consist of. You see, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, is going to be, putting 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latin America to death. And here it is, 2/3 of our people, they're being put to death right now as we speak. Look what happened to Puerto Rico last year. Look what happened to the Bahamas just recently. All these people are getting put to death. Yahweh Shem Yahushai brought plagues and calamities upon them. You see, and if you thought that was something, wait till you see the times that we're fastly approaching. You see, that we're coming into. Yahweh Shem Yahushai is about to really turn up the heat in the kitchen. And he's about to make 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans feel every last plague and calamity that he's about to bring upon you. Let me get one more.
All right.
Salaki, Amos 5:18.
This is Amos chapter 5, verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
That's right. So the ones of you so-called Negroes, Latin Americans, who were desiring the day of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the ones of you who are happy that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is coming back, to make a speedy return. Woe unto you, death and destruction, because that's what woe means. Read on.
To what end is it for you?
That's right. What end is it to you that that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is coming back? You see, the end of it to 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans is what? Death and destruction. Again, because you've been wicked your whole life, committing a whole bunch of abomination, wicked 50 acts, going about your own lust, not taking heed to the men that Yahweh Shem Yahushai has provided you with to give you the truth. You see, so the end of it to 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, the ones who are designing the day of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, is death and destruction.
The day of Yahweh Shem Yahushai is darkness and not light.
That's right. The day of Yahweh Shem Yahushai is darkness and not light. Meaning what? It's going to be very, 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 very bad out here. You see? And there ain't going to be no light in it. Meaning it's not going to be nothing good about what's coming in these upcoming times. You see? Because it's not going to be nothing good about race riots. It's not going to be nothing good about, these female camps with the guillotine inside of them. It's not going to be nothing good about these diseases. It's not gonna be nothing good about none of these plagues that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is gonna send upon the face of the earth. You see, so the day of the Lord is darkness and there's no light in it.
Okay, verse 19. All right, this is Amos chapter 5, verse 19. As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him.
That's right. So this is basically, what the day of the Lord is going to be like. You see, for the ones of you who are designing the day of the Lord, you see, the end of it to you, again, is death and destruction. You see, it's going to be as if, read that part again, 19.
All right. As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him.
You see, so this is how the day of the Lord is going to be for 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans who design the day of the Lord. It's going to be as if, you came up against a lion, and then you got away from the lion, then you came up against a bear. You see, then you got away from that bear, and then you went into the house and leaned your hand on the wall, and the serpent got you. You see, because in these upcoming times, you might get away from the race riots, one bad incident, but then what? You might come across the diseases. You might get away from the diseases, and then what? You come across a famine, the water, bro, famine of food and thirst. You see, you might get away from the famine of food and thirst, but then you come up against, the race riots. You might get away from the race riots, but then ultimately you're gonna get taken out by the end all be all, the 200 million ICBM missiles, right along with the chariots, which the word calls UFOs, with the concentrated fire coming down from the bottom of it. You see, and that's showing you right there that there is no escape of the day of the Lord. You see?
Verse 20.
Yep.
Shall not the day of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua be darkness and not light?
Mm-hmm.
Even very dark and no brightness in it.
That's right. So the day of the Lord is going to be darkness. It's going to be very bad, and there ain't going to be no light in it. Ain't going to be nothing good about the day of the Lord. You see? So the day of the Lord is going to be a very bad time for 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, who was not taking heed to the prophets, starting with our apostle of the great millstone, down to brothers like ourselves. You see, the day of the Lord is going to be a bad day for y'all. But Lord willing, me and this brother, like I said, will be of the elect. We ain't have to go through that. So I hope you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans have been edified. Before we go any further, we'd like to give all honor, all glory, and all praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rakar Kodash. Next up, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth according to the Bible and rule well, and a double shalom to all the sincere Akim throughout the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth in righteousness and sincerity to the best ability. Till next time, shalom.
Shalom.